Hello everyone, welcome to Season 9, Episode 4 of I See Bad Movies. Yay!
Yay!
I don't know what that was.
No, neither do I, but I joined in.
That was very kind of you. You didn't leave me hanging. That's the main thing.
Never.
I am obviously one of your hosts, Dave Keane, and I am joined by the abominable, large shoe-wearing, big-footed Emma Spicer.
Hi, and I haven't got big feet, by the way. I'm a size 5.
Well,
That's not big.
size 5 in European sizes.
It's not. Size 5
I think
not
actually
big.
size 5 European sizes are smaller than size 5 UK. I honestly don't know.
Oh, I don't know.
I don't know. But I just wanted to link your description to the movie again.
I know.
But it is very deceptive, this film title.
It is, yes.
Night of the Demon obviously would imply it's
demon.
some sort of demonic possession or something.
Yes.
No, it's a rampaging Bigfoot.
It is. Yeah, we had this with Troll, though, didn't we? Is it Troll or Trolls?
Troll 2.
Troll 2.
Yeah.
That was actually goblins.
Yes.
Not trolls. So
Yeah.
why they called it Trolls, I will never know.
So do you not know? They
Oh,
called
we
it
did-
Troll 2.
Yes, because it linked to another movie that was called Trolls.
Popular beforehand called
Yes.
Troll. And
But then why
yes.
don't they call the creatures in the movie Trolls then? If they wanted to, unless that was an afterthought, unless they
Listen,
did the whole movie and then thought, let's
Listen,
call it Troll.
I think that's probably what happened. They
Yeah.
were like, nobody's going to watch this. Let's call it Troll 2 and try and ride off of this. Yeah. Whoever put the money up for the film must have been like, what have we done?
Yeah.
Oh, God, what have we done? And yeah, so this is what I've read about it, it's a slasher Bigfoot film.
Yes.
Okay. So looking forward to watching that. I sent you a clip a while ago of one of the kills in it.
You did. Yes.
And I was like, we absolutely have to watch this film.
Yeah.
We have to watch this film. So shall I stop jibber jabbering and go through the synopsis
Please
of the
do.
film for us? Okay. So Professor Nugent and his students embark on a journey to locate Bigfoot, believed to be responsible for countless deaths. They disturb a black magic ritual and uncover the truth about Bigfoot and his offspring. But who will believe them? Wow.
That's a big sigh.
Yeah. It sounds amazing.
Yeah.
Do we think it will be amazing?
We never know, do we? I mean, the clip was good that you sent me.
Yes.
Never know.
So you just don't know.
No.
I can only hope. If it's full of kills like that, I think
If it's full of kills like that, great.
great.
But sometimes you get one great bit in a trailer or you see one great clip online
Yeah.
and that's it throughout the whole movie. I mean,
Yeah.
you shared with me the new Naked Gun trailer
Oh, yes.
the other day, and the bit in the trailer was hilarious.
Yeah.
But that could possibly be. I hope not. I hope it is funny all the way through. But I
Mhm.
thought they might have just shown the funniest bit in the trailer, which is disappointing because I would have absolutely been wetting myself if
I
that had just happened
know.
in the movie.
I saw it and I shared it with you, and I thought, as soon as I shared it, I thought, oh no, what if it was an April Fool's joke and it's just sticking around?
Yeah,
And then no, it is real.
It is real.
It's coming to cinemas.
I mean, it looks fantastic if it is real, but I just hope it's. I mean, maybe we should do a cinema trip. Oh no, it's going to be a good movie though. That's the thing.
Is it though?
Well, we don't know.
It
actually,
could
do
be
we?
dreadful. Are we going to do an I See Bad Movie cinema trip to go see the new Naked
Shall
Gun
we?
film?
I think we should. When does it come out?
1st of August?
Yeah, I think we should.
Yeah, yeah, let's do
Yeah.
that. Oh
Yeah.
my God. I'm so excited. We go and watch it and then we can come back and record something about it.
Yes,
Yes. All right. Oh,
I think
God.
we need to see it.
Yeah. Oh, my God. Good for you for thinking of that.
Thanks. Good for you for thinking.
Good for you.
Sometimes I have thoughts.
Sometimes. And that was a great thought. I loved it very much. All right. So, let's flip the coin
Yep.
and see if we're going to focus on the good bits or the bad bits. Oh, God.
We'll just throw the coin and drop it.
I literally, I don't know how that happened. I lifted my hand, the coin seemed to float, and my hand fell away from it. That's what
Like the
happened.
cartoons.
That was an impressive flick. Okay. What do you reckon?
I think it's going to be good.
It is.
Oh, it is.
Oh, my God. That's like the first time in ages. Is it the first time in ages you got
I'm
it right?
not sure. I can't remember.
I honestly don't know.
I don't know.
It's not. It's like we should keep track of these things.
We should really, shouldn't we?
I know,
We
but
should know what's going on.
we're just kind of useless at it.
Yeah.
Right. So what we're going to do? We're going to go watch this film, and we're going to come back, tell you what happens in it, and then
tell you what we thought.
Tell you all the good bits that happened in it as well. All right.
Yep.
We'll see you on the other side. Hello, Emma.
Hi.
Welcome back.
Well, we watched it.
Oh, didn't we just?
We did.
Oh, do you know, there was parts of that movie that reminded me of Attack of the Killer Tomatoes.
Was there?
Yeah, the fact that there was, quite late in the movie, there was just so much noise. It was kind of overwhelming sensory-wise.
Yeah.
Way over the top.
I really didn't enjoy that in Attack of the Killer Tomatoes.
No. I mean, I was crawling up the walls, I think, by the end of that film with the sound.
I can get very easily overstimulated anyway. So I don't like things like the Tube in London.
Yeah.
I don't like anywhere really mega busy with lots of crowds and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
So, and like too much noise.
Yeah.
So I found that movie really uncomfortable to watch actually because it was just too much going on.
Yeah. And I had exactly the same thing at the end of that film. There was just the music and the sounds and everything was just like, whoa.
Yeah, it just stresses you out.
Yeah, it really was. And I was like, I just want it to end. Please let it end. And not because it was awful. I mean, it wasn't great.
There was also
but it
one
was just
traumatic scene which will stay with me, I think.
Yeah, I think
and we'll
so.
Talk about that.
I think we will, but
on the flip side.
I think I do need to kind of warn people that like going into watching this film, you need to be very aware that there is some
disturbing
it's like, can we not just have a horror movie where women just aren't exploited? Do you know what I mean?
Apparently not.
We clearly can.
No.
You know, I mean, this poor woman is put through two very traumatic things in the same movie, just years apart. And it's like,
But we'll talk about that in
I think
the flip side.
I think it will be the
a
flip side because it's bad
scene.
stuff. It will be bad stuff. But don't go into this film thinking, oh, this is just a slasher movie. No, there's some really disturbing things that happen in it. You know, I mean, it was banned.
It was.
It was banned.
Okay.
And then I think the BBFC were like, cut some stuff out of it and it'll be okay. And it was able to be released.
What did they cut out if that stayed in then?
Well, I think since it's all been like added since.
Oh, okay.
With changes to whatever. But yes, it was very, very, some very disturbing things. Yeah. So should I get talking about what happens in the film?
Yes.
And then we'll be like, and then here's like the one or two good things.
Literally a couple of things.
Oh, literally a couple. It was a difficult watch.
Yeah.
So we open up in a hospital ward and there's a man who has a bandage covering the lower half of his face. And that's really important. A very loose
bandage, by the way.
Very loose bandage. It's covering the bottom half of his face, and that's really important to remember, especially when we see this same guy and the injuries he gets that causes this bandage to be on him. It's wholly inadequate for the injuries that he receives, and he's also must have the healing factor of Wolverine. That's all I'm going to say. He gets a lot better, a lot faster than any human being would. So he's in this hospital bed, and he's trying to explain to the doctors about what happened, about all his students that were with him that are either not found or were found dead, and he's the sole survivor. Okay, he's trying to tell them that it was a Bigfoot that did it. Okay, now the rest of the film starts. We've got Bill Nugent, who is our man in the hospital bed. He's an anthropology professor. He's approached by a young woman called Carla Thomas, whose father was murdered in the woods in North Carolina. Now, she suspects that his death was caused by a Bigfoot who, according to legend, blah, 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 resides in the woods in this region. And despite many disappearances of people, brutal murders, including the death of a young couple, and we see all these murders happen during the film, but they're kind of explained early on, like the death of a young couple, the emasculation of a biker. 2 Girl Scouts being murdered as well. The police are deeming that the theory of Bigfoot being responsible is a hoax. But Carla requests to accompany Bill, along with 4 of his students, who are called Roy, Pete, Gary, and Linda, on an expedition aiming to prove Bigfoot's existence. So this all happens in a classroom.
Yeah.
And he's kind of like going, blah, 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 this has happened here, this has happened. And they're like, we're going to go find it. And some people are like, yeah, let's go into the murderous woods.
Yeah, I know.
Honestly.
I keep seeing TikToks of this guy who does, if there was one rational person in a horror movie.
Oh, yeah.
Have you seen any of them?
Yes, I have.
And they're like, let's go into the woods and find this crazy monster. And he's like, guys, fuck no. Let's not. And it's like, yeah, that's what horror movies need. Just one sensible person that doesn't get a knock on the door late at night and then open the door wide and walk out into their massive yard and look for somebody. And then all of a sudden the door's slammed behind them and someone's in the house. Like, come on.
That's why I really like that movie Cabin in the Woods.
Oh, I have watched that, but years ago.
Well,
I think.
they're like you know how it's always like the person that has sex in the movie is the one that dies.
Yeah.
You know, that kind of thing. The virgin sacrifice, blah blah blah, that sort of thing. And in the background of this house, they're pumping pheromones into the room to make them want to have sex.
Oh, okay.
And they're manipulating the things to happen.
Yeah.
And it's like, people must be idiots to do these things.
I know, it's ridiculous.
There must be this manipulation in the background to cause it. I know.
It's crazy.
It really is.
It's madness.
We do see like a flashback to the death of this Carla's father as well.
Yeah.
But we don't actually see it. He's camping and then he's attacked. End of. Right? I think he loses his arm. He gets his arm pulled off or something like that.
Yes, yeah, he does.
Yeah, I know it there. It was a long hour and a half, everyone. So they go off, they embark on boat along a river, and they come to the property of this old man called Lou Carlson, all right? And this fella has claimed to have witnessed Bigfoot. But Lou allows them to stay at his cabin, but he's very evasive when they try to speak to him about Bigfoot. But one of the students, Roy, bribes him with alcohol, and Lou suggests that they seek out a lady called Wanda, who is a recluse. She resides deep in the woods and supposedly holds a lot more information about Bigfoot. Now, we then cut to our first kind of death scene, and this is the one that I shared with you.
Yeah.
So we cut to a guy camping in the woods in the middle of the day, tucked up in his sleeping bag.
Yes.
Okay. Bigfoot grabs him in the sleeping bag, swings him round his head, and throws him, and he gets impaled on a branch. And that's the end of him. Okay. And I was like, I can't remember what came first. Was it Friday the 13th or this? Where Jason picks someone up in a sleeping bag and smashes them against a tree. I can't remember which one came first, but yeah, it reminded me of Jason doing that same thing. Anyway. And it did make me chuckle. Yeah. Just this idea of like being swung around.
Why was he in his sleeping bag in the middle of the day?
Tired.
Do people have naps? It's such an alien concept to me.
It really is, isn't it?
I'd love to have naps.
Oh, yeah. I had a nap. On Sunday.
Did you?
I did,
Lucky bastard.
I know. It was like 30 minutes, and it was nice. It was really nice.
Although I always say I'm jealous of people who have naps, but whenever I have napped in the past,
Aye.
I always wake up so groggy and disorientated. It's never nice. Well, actually, it depends what time I have the nap. If the nap's too late in the day, it's like a toddler.
Yes.
If it's too late in the day, then I'm oh, I'm groggy, I'm disorientated, I don't know what time it is. Mm-hmm. If I nap earlier in the day, it's actually not too bad. It's actually quite nice.
Oh, that's interesting.
So I think I need to, if I'm going to nap, I need to nap just after lunch.
Just after a nice hearty lunch.
Nice full belly.
Yeah.
Sleep up for the rest of the afternoon, evening.
Oh, maybe that's the key. Maybe sleeping on a full stomach or having eaten something.
Because I know when I've fallen asleep like 3-4 o'clock before, or even later, I always, and you wake up and you're like, what time is it? I don't even know what, you think
who's the president?
Who am I? What year is it? But you think, because you get so confused about what time it is, and you think because you've fallen asleep, especially if you nap in bed and rather than on the sofa or something,
Yes.
then you think it's the next morning, and you wake up thinking, is it morning? I've got to get up and go to work, or is it like? And then you look at the clock and you're like, what? It's like 6 o'clock or whatever.
Yeah.
It's just so disorientating.
What's even worse is disorientating is when if you fall asleep on the sofa late at night and you wake up and it's the middle of the night or something.
And I hate that because I can fall asleep on the sofa so easily and quickly, and then as soon as I decide I'll actually get up and go to bed, then I'm wide awake in bed, and I'm like,
that's so
but I was so tired on the sofa.
I know.
How?
I can't sit.
It's so annoying.
I cat sitted.
Cat
sat. I cat sat.
You cat sat.
I cat sat. Cat
Yeah.
sat. I cat sat for Ben and Sinead at the weekend.
Yes.
And I wasn't planning on staying over because it was just like literally one day. Go in,
so you could just go
feed
and feed
them,
the cat.
make sure they're in at night, and then go back in the morning, feed them in the morning, make sure they can get out and the cat flaps open, etc. But I was sitting there and I was just watching some telly on the telly, and I'd been out and I'd come in, sorted the cats out, and I was a bit hungry, and I thought I could go home and order something in, or I could just order something here.
Yeah.
So I ordered something there, and I'm sitting eating, and I'm sitting there and I'm watching telly, and I don't even know what time it was. It must have been about like midnight or something.
Yeah.
And I just kind of dozed off on the sofa, and one of Sinead's cats was just sat in my lap, so it was really warm, and I was like, this is lovely. And I fell asleep on the sofa, and I kind of woke up at 3 a.m. in a different place, and I was like, what? And the telly's still going, and I was like, so disorientated.
And then I take it you just stayed there. Then you didn't.
I just thought, I'm not going to go home now. I just kind of like got myself sort of a little bit more settled on the sofa, and just thought, stuff it, I'm just going to crash out here.
Yeah.
Not my finest moment. Not my finest moment. Anyway. So the next day, Professor Nugent and his 5 companions go visit a nearby town.
Can I just ask you not to talk too much about the deaths, because that's the only good thing I've got.
No, I won't. Okay. I won't. Oh,
that's the only good thing I've got to talk about,
fair
apart
enough.
from one line as well.
Fair enough. I will say when the deaths happen, and then a death happens.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. So they get a little bit more information from the locals about Wanda. She's the daughter of a deranged preacher, Emmett McGinty, whose followers were rumoured to engage in inbreeding, cannibalism, and human sacrifice. They're told that Emmett has since committed suicide, and when the group learn of this, they return to the woods. All right. Now, they're relaxing down for the evening, and as a lot of the group have fallen asleep, they're awoken by chanting in the woods.
Yep.
Now, Bill and Roy follow the sound and stumble upon a satanic sexual ritual. It's not a sexual ritual, it's an assault. Okay, that's what it is. It's not a sexual ritual, which is involving Wanda around an effigy of Bigfoot. Now, what they notice among the practitioners is a local sheriff. Now, Bill, disgusted by what he sees, interrupts the ritual by firing a gun, causing all the cultists to scatter. Mm-hmm. And Wanda obviously scatters herself as well. Now, in the morning, Bill and all the other students find their boat missing. Okay? And there are large footprints on the shore, which I think is really thoughtful of the Bigfoot, isn't it?
Yeah.
To just, get rid of the boat.
Yeah.
It's like, is Bigfoot smart enough to think, let's get rid of their escape?
Clearly.
Obviously, yeah. But they also find...
Bigfoot, big brain.
Yeah. Well, they always say about big feet with big feet.
Yeah.
Big feet, big shoes. Oh my goodness. So they make a plaster cast of the footprints and they push forward. All right.
Yep.
Now that night, again, they're camping, and we hear kind of, they mention again things like and I can't remember the order of these happening, but they keep mentioning occasionally attacks that Bigfoot has made.
Yeah, not sure I'd be camping if there was a Bigfoot on the loose. I was going to say not sure I'd be camping if I saw that big footprint, but actually the footprint didn't look any bigger than an average man's footprint, did it?
That's yes. I want you to
Yeah.
put that down as like a bad prop
Oh, okay.
because it's a footprint of Bigfoot's foot, but it's not particularly big.
Clearly, just one of the men with boots on have just put their.
Yeah.
Well, no, not boots on because it didn't have boots on, did it? It was like you saw the toes and stuff, but
Yeah.
it was not that big.
It's like they didn't have any. They didn't have like one of those fake Bigfoot footprint things to make. So they just said to a guy, "Can you just go and dig like a footprint in the ground
Yeah.
for us?" And the guy was like, "Yeah, okay." And he got a bit bored halfway through and went, "Oh, just there's some toes.
That'll do, yeah.
That'll do." You know, what's that? Size 8? Yeah, that's
Yeah.
pretty big. He was quite a small man making it. He had size 5 feet himself. He's like, "Oh God, these are massive. These size 8s." But yeah, it was very odd. Now, but they keep cutting as well, and as I say, I forget the order that they happen, but they keep mentioning these attacks that Bigfoot has made, and they've mentioned things like a biker that was attacked and killed.
Mm-hmm.
They mentioned that there were 2 Girl Scouts that were attacked and killed by the Bigfoot as well, and these are all happening throughout the course of the film, and have probably happened by now in the synopsis. Now, that night, Bigfoot attacks Linda and Gary while the 2 of them are having sex. Bigfoot drags its claws down Gary's back and he's got these great big gouges. But they both survive, and the group eventually reach Wanda's cabin. Now, Wanda is not a well woman.
No.
She is clearly
She's
brought up by
been through some shit.
Yeah, she's brought up by an overzealous religious pastor.
Yeah.
And probably not a very nice upbringing. She's had this very traumatic thing happen with Bigfoot that we'll get into in a bit, which we won't get into. We'll just mention it because
do we know that at this point though? In the
not
movie?
at this
We
point.
don't, do
Not
we?
at this
No,
point.
we just know that she's
She's
through
very
something traumatic,
unwell.
clearly,
She's
yeah.
very unwell, and so they bribe her with candy. Okay. But as soon as they mention Bigfoot, she has an absolute breakdown, a
Yeah.
complete meltdown, absolutely. And she goes and hides herself away in a little room in the house.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, that night, outside, Pete is attacked by the Bigfoot. Okay.
Yes.
And he goes to chase Bigfoot and ends up running into a tree with his gun and shooting himself.
Whoops.
Whoops.
Whoopsie.
Now, the others all attempt to find and locate Pete, but they find he's disappeared. They just find kind of a blood splatter on a tree and assume the worst. Now, Bill then has this wonderful idea to hypnotize Wanda the next day and causing her to recall her abusive childhood with them. Mm-hmm. Now, as well as being brought up with a overzealous religious pastor, we find out that Bigfoot was assaulted by Wanda.
Yeah.
An event that her father had witnessed, and him being convinced that the beast was a demon, Emmett shot Bigfoot, but not before it was too late for Wanda. Wanda ends up becoming pregnant with Bigfoot's child, and Emmett, he unsuccessfully attempts to induce Wanda to lose the child by making her drink poison. But Wanda does eventually give birth to this half human, half Bigfoot child. However, Emmett then kills the child after birth.
Did I predict this again? This was going to happen.
Yeah, you did.
I think I did. Yeah.
Yeah, you did. Yeah, you predicted every single second of this.
Yeah. No,
Which-
not every single.
Not every single second. Not every
We'll
single
talk about
second.
that later.
We will talk about that later. Yes. But in retaliation for killing her child, Wanda burns her father alive in his barn, and she stages it to look like he committed suicide. Now, hoping to find evidence of Wanda's Bigfoot child, Bill then decides to explore a cemetery nearby where he digs up skeletal remains of the infant Bigfoot. Now, Bigfoot appears in the graveyard and runs off with its dead child, and Bill and the others barricade themselves in Wanda's cabin. Now, hours later, okay, it's like they're all barricaded in, and they're kind of waiting for morning to come so they can get the heck out of Dodge. But I don't know why they really worry about it being nighttime or daytime, because all throughout the movie, Bigfoot has killed people during the day and during the night.
Yeah, so it
doesn't
doesn't
really
matter.
matter. Now, So they're barricaded in, but hours later, Bigfoot hangs Pete's mutilated body on the porch before breaking into the home.
Yeah.
Now, Bigfoot ignores Wanda completely. He strangles Carla to death as the others shut themselves in the kitchen. Nice one, guys. Leave Carla to it,
Yeah.
you know. Then Bigfoot breaks into the kitchen. He disembowels Gary by ripping his stomach open. Roy attempts to stop him, but the Bigfoot smashes his head through a window, cuts his throat on the glass, and then impales Linda with a pitchfork.
Yeah.
Now, remember I said Bill, at the beginning of the movie, had a bandage over the bottom half of his face?
Yes.
Now, what was the top half of his face like, Emma? Fine, would you say?
Yeah.
No injuries?
It was okay, wasn't it?
It was all okay.
Yeah.
But the Bigfoot grabs Bill's face and puts it over, you know, in those old kind of like, what they call, like an old Aga cooker.
Yeah, yeah.
They've got, they've got the coals or the wood burning inside them, and they've got the stove tops that you can open up, and it's like it's literally open to the flame.
Yeah.
It's opened up, and he puts Bill's full face over the heat
Yeah,
of
there's
this
no way
cooker.
his top of his face is okay.
No, there isn't. That even shows you the burns. His face is just blackened burns all over.
Yeah.
And when we see him in the hospital, like only the bottom half of his face is covered. It's like, okay. But Bill is left for dead. Now, we don't know what happens with Wanda. We don't know what happens with the Bigfoot. That's technically the end of the event. That's it. But that's when we come back, we find Bill lying helpless in the hospital bed. He's been found unconscious in the wood, his face burned. Detectives are inquiring about Carver and the 4 missing students. Bill has recounted his version of events to them, but both the police and the attending doctors listen to his story with complete disbelief, and the hospital psychologist deems him criminally insane, as if he's the one that must have done the killings. He snapped. There you go. End of movie.
Yep.
That's it. Interesting film. I mean,
I guess you could call it interesting.
I mean, I like the idea that they made Bigfoot like a slasher killer in it.
Yeah.
You know, I like that, but I just think a lot of it was very painful.
Yeah, I mean, I have got a couple of good bits.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously, this is the good episode, but I do think that it was fairly boring.
Yeah.
And it probably, needed a bit more storyline. But yeah, I guess we'll talk about things like that later on when we talk about how we could improve it. But
yes,
yeah, I've got a good line, and I've got good deaths. But also, one thing that I thought was good, which isn't in our categories, was we got Bigfoot vision, and we love a bit of vision, don't we, of like the creature or the killer, or
we love a bit.
Yeah, so if it's an animal or an object, and we get their vision,
yes,
we love that. That's like a little tick for us.
But it did also teach us that Bigfoot has pink eye.
Yeah,
because
it
had
was very like tinted red, wasn't it?
Red tint around the edges. Yeah,
I don't know why. It always looks weird when they do something's vision. It's always like blurred around the edges, and there is normally like a colour to it, isn't there?
Yes.
I mean, I don't know about objects, but do other creatures have a different vision like that to us?
I know dogs see in like a black and white kind of.
Yeah, but it's not like a blurred edge, is it?
Yeah.
With like a colour.
Yeah,
to it.
That's not how pupils work, you know.
If Sir David Attenborough's listening, then maybe he could tell us if there's any animals or creatures that...
David, if you're listening.
You know, do they have like different vision to us like that? I'll have to have a Google, I think, because...
There must be something. There must be some animal that has...
I guess how would we know as well?
I saw a great meme the other day. It was like, you've got like a colour wheel, and it's like how humans see colour, and how animals who have greater vision than us see colour, and it was just the same thing, because like we're humans looking at it, we're not going to see the different colours that the animals see.
No.
I thought that was a good little meme. But you've got things like the mantis shrimp that sees like 16 million colours, and we see like, I don't know,
how's
24.
they know? They just dissect the eye.
I think it's just because of the different eye receptors and the way that they are built. They're made to be able to see much more colour than we can.
Okay.
And, you know, I mean, when we look at colour as a spectrum, and we see, you know, red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, violet, like that, you know, there must be so many, like, what I'm imagining is, and I'm no scientist.
Really?
Well, actually, I'm no scientist at all. But I'm imagining that the range of colours from that red to round to violet, there must be so many more hues in between that we can't see.
Yeah. Is
my assumption. So
yeah, there'd definitely be animals that have got.
And it's all to do with, is it cones and rods in the eyes?
I don't know.
You know, I honestly don't know.
I don't know, but there must be. Yeah, I mean, obviously we know there's animals that have got much better vision than us.
Yes.
So I'm guessing, yeah, they see more vivid colours and they see.
Yeah, it must
differently
be
to us.
It must be. Like mantis shrimp eyes. Let's have a look. Mantis shrimp eyes versus human eyes. Okay. What does Google tell me? So, mantis shrimp possess a highly complex visual system with 12 to 16 photoreceptors, allowing them to perceive 12 channels of colour. They can see UV light and polarised light, unlike humans who have only 3 colour receptors and cannot see polarised light. There you go. Polarised light. What is that? They're the only known animals that can detect circularly polarised light, which travels in a spiral. I've got no idea what that means. But no. Well done them. Well done them. Anyway,
I've got no idea either.
There you go. Now, I was just looking at some trivia about this film because we won't have much good stuff to talk about.
Yep.
But did you know that, most of the kill scenes that are in this film that I'm pretty sure we're going to mention in this episode, there are some bad deaths, but there are, I think, some good deaths as well. But most of the kill scenes in the film were shot and added into the film by the producer, unbeknownst to the director, and the original version of the film contained little to no gore at all.
Oh, okay.
So all this stuff was added in
yeah.
at the end. And originally, the movie was titled The Revenge of Bigfoot, but it was later changed when the interest in Bigfoot movies that started in the 70s waned. So there was a lot of it. Apparently, there were a lot of interest in Bigfoot movies in the 70s, and this one was too late. So they changed the name of the film to trick people into coming to watch it. Amazing. But yes, very, very interesting. Very interesting. Now, what topics do we want to cover over? Do we want to focus on good deaths?
I've only got good line and good deaths.
Okay. I think I don't think I've got necessarily anything good written down specifically, other than just the fact there are some good deaths. That's about it. So, and I imagine my good deaths are no different to yours.
So I've got a few different deaths, but I've only got one good line. Shall I do that first?
Yeah, let's go with that one.
So at the very beginning, the doctor is talking to guy with bandage.
Sure, guy with bandage.
And he says, perhaps it would be helpful if you begin at the beginning of your story. And I just thought, yeah, that's normally where you would start on a story.
Perhaps we should begin at the end.
The beginning. But it's also the double use of begin. I don't know. It reminded me of something like Austin Powers would say, like, allow myself to introduce myself. Yes. I was just like, okay, that was quite a funny line. That was the only one I had, though.
No, I know. There wasn't really anything that stood out in this film, was there?
No.
Just nothing at all.
No.
Yeah. I've got one bad line.
Oh, okay.
As
so
well,
which,
I'd say on the flip side.
I think we've got quite a lot for the flip side this time, haven't we?
Yeah, I think we do.
But give this movie credit where it's due. We did have some good deaths, and we do like a good death, don't we?
And we like seeing the deaths, and it showed us them as well.
And we did see the deaths, so all credit to it for the deaths. So we had the guy in the so there's a couple in a caravan.
Yes, and I didn't mention them actually in the synopsis.
Okay. Yes, so there's a couple in a caravan having sex. A lot of sex in this movie.
Yeah.
So it was a bit of an awkward sex scene, though, wasn't it? With like, I felt like every sex scene was quite awkward. And Bigfoot breaks in and kind of drags the guy out onto the roof, doesn't he? He gets killed on the roof.
Yes, he does.
And then the guy, he does. He gets killed on the roof, but then you see the guy slide down the window. And the blood in this movie looks like strawberry syrup, like the syrup you get for pancakes and waffles and stuff. It looks like that.
It's very, very bright reddish.
And it just, the consistency of it as well doesn't look right, does it? It's too bright, and the consistency is like
too gloopy.
syrupy. Yeah,
I know. I know and I understand. Like blood can coagulate and start to
it
look
does,
like that.
but it's runny at first, and then it kind of
Exactly.
But also, blood is quite a deep red, isn't it?
Yeah.
Actually, so
Yeah.
it's not. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the woman, she
Mhm.
just dies of fright.
Yeah.
So she just sits there and makes this weird noise and this weird face. Does she make a noise? Or just pull
Well,
a
she's
face?
making a lot of noises.
Well, no, but when she sees the guy slide down the window, she kind of pulls this weird face, and then literally she just sat there like naked,
yes.
and she's like pulls this face, and then she's just dead.
Yeah.
She's died of fright.
We just have to assume she died of fright.
Which I didn't know was a
It was
thing.
hilarious.
Yeah.
It was absolutely hilarious. Yeah.
It was. I mean, it was just such an awkward sex scene as well.
Oh, I know it really was.
You've talked about the one with the guy in the sleeping bag where he
Oh,
swings him
yeah,
around
I'm
and he
sorry.
gets impaled on a tree
Yeah.
branch. That was quite funny as well. And then we've also got the man having the pee in the woods.
Oh, the
And
baker.
Bigfoot just grabs his dick
Just
and rips it off.
Just grabs that bad boy.
And he just bleeds out. And actually, because what movie was it?
Well, actually.
Well, actually. What movie was it where we actually looked up how quickly you would bleed to death if different body parts got cut
Vagina
off?
dentata.
It must have
Teeth.
been. Oh, was it? Yes.
Yeah.
Of course it was. So, yeah, we've actually looked this up before.
Yes, we have.
I mean,
We have.
if our phones ever get taken by the police for any reason, we can have some serious explaining to do.
Especially if
the
anyone's
things we
lost
Google.
a penis in the vicinity.
Because the things we Google for this podcast. So actually, if somebody did rip your dick off, hopefully it never happens to you guys.
I'm hoping.
But if it does ever happen, it would actually take a really long time.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, a stupidly long time. You could get help. It would not. You wouldn't just lie there and bleed to death.
Yep.
I mean, you might die of shock like this woman in the caravan, but it wouldn't actually. You wouldn't actually bleed out from that.
No. That was. I don't know if that was a heartening thing to find out that if my penis is ever ripped off, I won't
Then if
die.
your penis is ripped off,
But
do
then
you
also,
want to die?
if my penis is ripped
Yeah.
off, I think I'd just
Do
be
you wanna
like,
live?
"Oh God, kill me! Please kill me!"
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, we've got one person dying of fright, one person dying of blood loss. But might I add as well, you don't just see Bigfoot ripping the dick off.
Yeah.
You see the whole thing.
Oh
The
yeah,
gu-
you see it. Yeah.
The guy's hanging dong in this film.
Yeah.
And it's like, you know what? Fair play. We've seen
Yeah.
boobs. Now we got penis. That's equality.
But I mean, well, it's a ripped off penis, but yeah, it's I don't know. It's just unnecessary. Isn't
It
to
was a
rip man's
surprise.
penis off.
I was shocked to see it.
It was just like so unnecessary, and like, would he do that, or would is that
Would?
your is that
Not anymore.
Is that your first thought as a killer? Would you not just? I mean, that's not going to kill him anyway. That's just going to cause him a lot of pain, I would imagine.
But does Bigfoot have medical training? And does Bigfoot have Google to know it's not going to kill
No,
him?
Google just
Yeah.
Google. Bigfoot's just going on a rampage, and he's just being violent,
Or
isn't
maybe
he?
Bigfoot was just a bit horny and he was like, oh, I'll have some of that. Oh, no, I don't know my own strength. Whoops.
Oh, I don't know, but
No, I don't know.
yeah, that's literally all the good I've got for this.
Yeah.
So I guess if that's the only good things we've got, do we want to talk about how we'd improve it?
Yeah, I think we need to kind of focus on how we'd improve it.
Okay.
And I think I'd probably get involved somebody who understands sound in a movie and know that just a cacophony is not the way
No.
to go. I can't get past it. I can't get past how noisy it was at the end.
Yeah.
It's like it. Even thinking about it is just getting my shackles rising, not my shackles.
Heckles.
Heckles, raising my
heckles?
heckles.
Is
Yeah,
that right?
hackles,
I don't-
shackles.
It sounds wrong now. I've said
It
it.
does. Yeah. So you get that when you say a word, the same
Yeah.
word too often, that suddenly just loses meaning.
I don't know what it is
Yeah.
now.
I don't know what it is now. Yeah. Write in and tell us what I mean.
Is it heckles or hackles?
Hackles.
Is it
My,
hackles?
my shekels rising. Oh, that's shekels are a denomination, isn't it? Getting my heckles.
Yeah, hackle. Erectile hairs along an animal's back which rise when it's angry or alarmed. Erectile hairs. And that's not erectile hairs, that's in the animal hairs.
Yeah, it's like when your hairs stand on the back of your neck. That's my hackles rising. Yeah, okay.
Oh, and also it's a long, narrow feather on the neck or saddle of a domestic cock or other bird.
Domestic cock. There's just
either way, it's cock or erectile.
Cock, erectile, wood. It's all over the place. Maybe Bigfoot was the penises we met along the way. Yeah, the sound I think would be one of the main things I would do. I'd probably also, I think I'd probably remove as well a lot of the sexual abuse of Wanda.
Yeah, and I've said just the sex scene in general, because I think you can sometimes in these movies they're funny.
Yeah,
these were just awkward and so unnecessary. So much nudity that was so unnecessary.
Oh, there really was.
Yeah, and I also thought we don't really see Bigfoot until the end.
No, we don't. We don't.
Considering this is a movie about a Bigfoot, I would have him in it a lot more.
Yes.
Yeah, and I just think more storyline. It was quite boring at parts.
Yes. I'd also find some way of getting rid of this idea of the cult thing.
Yeah.
Because that it seems really shoehorned in, and then it's gone. Yeah. And I wonder if they shoehorned it in because, and I don't know if it was this early in the 80s, but I know in the US they had the Satanic Panic in the 80s, didn't they?
Yeah.
But I think like 1980 was too early for the Satanic Panic.
Yeah.
I'm not 100% certain.
I don't know, but
on the timeline for the Satanic Panic, I just like saying the Satanic Panic.
Yes,
it's a good phrase, but. So I don't know if obviously they changed the film to Night of the Demon, and then I feel like the cult stuff was just thrown in as well, and you could easily have just ignored it and not had that. But I know the panic originated in 1980 with the publication of Michelle Remembers, a book co-written by a Canadian psychiatrist. But the film was made in late 79 and then released in the 80s. So I don't know. I don't think there's a correlation between throwing the cult in and the name and Night of the Demon to I don't know, what's the word I'm looking for? Capitalize on that kind of Satanic Panic thing. I think it's just a coincidence. So yeah. I think I'd get rid of that.
Yeah.
As well.
So quite a lot of things would change then.
Yeah, absolutely. Get rid of that. Just have some form of Bigfoot slasher. Take out the fact that Wanda had a child with Bigfoot, so we don't have to have that scene happening. But then maybe bring in the fact that Bigfoot's child has been taken or something.
The fact that she had a baby with him was kind of pointless because the baby died anyway. So
yeah.
It was a bit of a pointless thing to put in there, wasn't it? Really?
I think it was literally just so that there could be some form of scene like that. I honestly do.
Yeah.
Which is disturbing to want
really
to
is,
put something like that in.
Why did they want to put something like that in?
For ultimately no reason. Because Bigfoot wasn't coming after his child. They just so happened to be in the cabin with the woman that had his child.
Yeah.
So it just wasn't a necessary thing. So I think if I was to rewrite it, I would make it that perhaps there was a family of big feet and the child had been taken by scientists or something, or by this research group, and they're thinking, oh my God, we've got this Bigfoot we're going to get, and they're stalked through the woods by Bigfoot. And ultimately we're on Bigfoot's side. But in this film, we're not on Bigfoot's side because Bigfoot is monstrous to Wanda, and so no one's, and we're not really on the side of the students, are we? Because they've put themselves in this situation like fucking idiots. Yeah, very odd, very strange film.
What are you scoring it?
I don't know. It's not a good bad film.
No, it's
just a bad film. I think I'm because there were good deaths and we saw them. I think I'm probably going to give it 1 out of 5.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Only for the deaths.
Yeah,
but I almost want to give it 0 because of
everything.
One of the scenes.
Yeah. That's a good point. It feels like
feels
it
like
wants
you
to
almost
take.
don't want to give it anything.
Yeah, actually, yeah, that's a good point. Like out of protest at shit like that in films.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I'm gonna rescind my 1 star.
Should we give it 0?
Yeah, let's give it both 0.
I think, yeah, because as much as it had a few good deaths in there, I think we've got to take points away for...
Yeah, over and above the normal bad things in a film.
Yeah.
It's... I mean, like I was saying to you before we started recording this part, I feel like we, as much as we're skirting around it, I feel like we should still put some kind of like trigger warning on it, and definitely,
Yeah.
if you are thinking of watching this film, read up on it first before you decide to watch it. I honestly promise you, you really should.
We will talk about it in the Patreon episode, but
yeah,
I agree with you. Maybe look into more detail about the movie before you watch it,
because it's quite grim.
Yeah,
it's quite grim and something
so unnecessary.
Yeah, so unnecessary.
Yeah.
It could easily have been anything else, and it just says to me, who wrote this film, and why is that in your head?
Yeah.
What is it do you have against women that were brought up by pastors that you want to treat them so badly? Were you turned down by someone? Is this something you want to, something you should be going to therapy for? Yeah. So Night of the Demon, 0 stars from both of us.
Yeah.
For very, very specific reasons.
And if you want to know exactly why, then listen to the flip side.
Yeah.
Because we've got a lot of bad stuff to talk about.
I feel like we're monetizing it there. No.
Us, no.
No, us, no. But we are going to go and record.
Yes, we are.
And we're going to talk about all the bad bits.
Yes, which there are many.
There are many. This is quite a short episode.
It is, but what can we do when there's literally nothing good about the movie apart from a couple of deaths?
I know we ummed and ahed.
We haven't even rambled on about the 80s. We've been very efficient tonight.
And it's even a film set at the beginning of the 80s and we've not even gone on about them.
That's the thing though, whenever it's set in that time period, I never talk about it.
That's true.
And then when it's different, if it's like later than that, I talk about, because I miss it. If I've got 80s and 90s in the movie.
You've had your 80s fix.
Yeah, I get withdrawal if it's like if it's post 2000, I'm like, but I want to live in the 80s and 90s.
Oh my God.
It's my favourite period of time.
That is exactly it. We've figured that out.
That's what it is, isn't it?
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
I'm amazed. Now,
it's taken us 2 years to work that out.
It's like my eyebrows are literally at the top of my eye line at the moment. I'm that amazed. Now, with that, shall we just say goodbye to our wonderful, beautiful listeners?
I think we should.
Bye.
Bye.